All right, hi everybody. It's Bonkai 922. I just uploaded the Adventures with Uber Kari. Go watch it. Go watch it. Laugh your ass off. Um, talking about. Oh my God, he was talking about dick enlargements. I was like, what the fuck? As it say. Um, there's going to be one more that I'm going to upload with this, which is the random vibe thing. His react is full. That was kind of hard to fix because while I'm recording it, they're playing the Berserk ending theme song in the background. So just as a precaution, I'll probably just put in that copyright notification in the description below, just in case they nail me a copyright strike. But it's just for the music. So yeah. And this is going to be Kyoukai no Kanata. Now, this one's... I found out what the translation is of this show. It's called... The English translation is Beyond the Boundary. Kind of an interesting what it means in English. Now, this episode name... This was, I believe, episode 3. Let me just make sure of that. Yeah, episode 3, Moonlight Purple. Now, in this episode, pretty much what has occurred is it's the night, or the day, that the hollow shadow is supposed to go over the city. And at the end of last week's episode, we find out that Mirai, she killed somebody. Yeah. She killed somebody. And let me just close my door. She killed somebody. And that's why she's calling herself a murderer and so on and so forth. And why she's cursed and everything. And basically she's reiterating this, that she doesn't want Akihito to hang out with her anymore. Stay away from me. We're not the same, stay away from me. And that's pretty much what she said to him. And the general conception that was shown in this, well, the majority of this episode was all about this Yomu that's going to infiltrate the sea, Hollow Shadow. Now, we get introduced, we get introduced a few more characters in this episode. We get introduced to Mitsuki's and Hirafumi's mother, Izumi, who, like them, is a spirit warrior. And her opinion on the Yomu, obviously, she has a very... Yeah, she's pretty negative towards it. She calls them monsters, and all that stuff. Kind of thing. Now, we get introduced to another character in this episode. Hopefully this is the guy's name. I apologize if it's not. Moroku Fujima. I think that's his name. Could be wrong, but he's part of investigation. He was sent here for part of this investigation organization to observe the Hollow Shadow as it's approaching over. Now, before I get into details of what happened between... I figured I want to talk about what went down with Izumi and this guy, Moroku. And they're basically having a conversation. He's having a conversation about her, what her specialties are, her powers, and saying that he's there to observe the Hollow Shadow. And she tells him, oh, that's easy, saying that Yomu's I hate saying this name, so hard to say. Yomu. That Yomus are basically considered monsters to her. And then she has this painting on the wall, which is actually a real monster that is sealed. And as the hollow shadows coming over everywhere, the Yomus are acting up, and we see this investigation guy taking out one Yomu. That's this little tiny green creature, and he just uses this technique that just destroys it completely, like strings, I think. And we have that part. The rest of the episode, though, focuses on Mirai and Akihito. Now, we see a scene after the beginning of that. There's a few things that happen in this episode, so hopefully I can get through this quick. With her trying to take down a Yomu. That's this little tiny, tiny thing. And she can't kill it. And what ends on happening is Mitsuki shows up and kills it instead. And tells her she can have it. And she's like, I don't want your charity and everything, Mirai's saying. I'm not like senpai, so on and so forth. And then she's looking on her and like, well, what's your problem? So obviously, she feels that not just Akihito, but Mitsuki are getting involved with her, and she doesn't want them to get involved. When the camera backs up, we see another character. And we see the character's face, and I'm like, who is this person? I don't know who it is. At the end, you find out who it is. It's this girl, and this happens basically before the investigation guy shows up at Izumi's, where she is. Then we have Akihito trying to basically investigate her. He's asking Hirofumi. That guy Hirofumi, man, Mitsuki's brother, he's a fucking dumbass. He's such a... Oh, man. He's such a character. He picks on Akihito all the time. Calls him that title thing. I'm like, damn. And then they're talking about his sister, saying that he's a perv. They're both pervs. Because he tells Hirofumi, Akihito, that, oh, she's wearing glasses. And he's like, what? Oh, he's freaking out about it. It was so funny. And she calls them both pervs. Mitsuki, because she walks in the room for the literacy club. And there's a few nonsensical things happening between her and her brother, calling him a perv and everything. And she hands, secretly, this note to Akihito. And he goes and meets her at 5:30 p.m., supposedly. And also, there was another event where he gives the money to Mirai that, because Mitsuki exchanged it to get the money for the slain Yomu. And she's like, she's trying to not grab it. She says, she's so ridiculous. She's definitely moe, Mirai. That is the definite term for her. So she grabs it and she leaves and she tells him not to get involved anymore of her affairs. It's like, come on. Later on, she shouldn't. Later on, it comes back to bite her in the ass. Yeah, it does. So, after that scene, he meets up with Mitsuki at this train station and explains to him of this story about her, Mirai. Saying she's a cursed clan, the blood clan that's cursed. And said, somebody told her this story, Iori, this Iori guy, of this ghost story about it, and saying that she was taken in. Well, that's later on he finds that out. Taken in about, and basically what ends up happening in this conversation is she tells him that she is going after the Hollow Shadow. And we also find out that there's more to this Hollow Shadow than meets the eye when it concerns Mirai. And what we found out, apparently the Hollow Shadow possessed a person that Mirai considered a very close friend, which she explains when Akihito goes to her house, her apartment. There's also another scene with Ai and the two ones that are Yomus, human Yomu, you know, they're at the school, and basically everyone's getting ready, barriers and shit, and so on and so forth. And this scene happens after he confronts her, and she explains to him the story. What happened was she was taken in by the what's the name of these group people? Inami. The Inami family took her in as one of her own. And the only friend she had among them, because they would let her live upstairs, like shunned her, is Yuri. And they were very close and everything else. And that's when the Hollow Shadow showed up and possessed Yuri. And that's when, because fear took over Mirai, she unleashed her power and she killed him. And then he says, no, it's not your fault. You're not a murderer. No, no, no. And then she's like, stay away from me. She's basically just insinuating him, saying, stay away from me. You're unpleasant. I'm like, whoa. All right, go ahead. Go get yourself killed. Bye-bye. That's not happening. She almost gets herself killed. And then we also see the scene with, and he's trying to make dinner. And he's like, he's really upset with himself. And we see Hirofumi, Mitsuki's brother, putting up a barrier and defending it away, the Hollow Shadow, shoving it away with a barrier. And he's defeating all these Yomus that they come attack him. And we have Mirai going away and just going to where the Hollow Shadow is. And this person shows up out of nowhere. I'm like, and so it's fighting her. I'm like, who is this person? And she says, Sakura. And I'm like, who the hell is Sakura? Totally threw me a loop. And by the time she's fighting her back and forth, by that time, the Hollow Shadow moves in, covers the entire area, and she's trapped inside the Hollow Shadow. Because you have to understand, people, the Hollow Shadow is actually just an immense area of aura, if you will. Yeah. And it just immense everywhere, and she gets absorbed in it, and her and Sakura are fighting, and she basically saying, why aren't you dead? And I'm like, who the hell is this bitch? Who the hell are you? And she's basically got this sword that's a shotgun and a chainsaw. I was like, whoa. Amira's using her blood sword and everything. I'm like, who is this bitch? Finally, when the episode was over, I went back to take a look. And I was like, okay, now it makes sense. Sakura is Yui's sister. That's what I'm going with. I'm pretty sure it's her sister, rather a sister or a cousin or some kind of relative. And that's what pretty much happened. And what happens is there's this exchange they have where she's got the blood sword, Mirai, and she's defending herself against her. And she's got this chainsaw, and it's like, this chainsaw is just cutting the shit out of her blood sword. I was like, oh shit, she's done for. And as it's cutting through, you see it's like rusting. So obviously her blood sword was making it rust, because it's cursed, I guess. And just before she hits through, here comes Akihito from like left field. Boom! Oh shit. I'm sorry, people. I just little animate object over there. Blowing my glasses side over there. Anyway, just out of nowhere. See how that happened? Holy shit. Out of left field, he comes in and just throws her to the side and says, and he's like, it is you who doesn't understand to Mira. And I was like, oh shit. Here we go. But yeah, that's pretty much, oh, my glasses are really durable. That's pretty much what happened in this episode. Gonna give this Pretty intense to a certain extent. Gonna give this a 4, only because of what is going to happen next week. Next week's special, people. Next week's going to be really insane. Next week, essentially what is going to happen next week, which I kind of saw coming, is it looks like he's going to get possessed. Akihito. That's what it looks like to me. It makes sense because basically the hollow shadow, you have to understand, is, like I was saying before, it possesses people. It possesses spirit warriors. It possesses them. And anyone else nearby. So if it possesses him and he's immortal, see how easy it is to defeat it. In fact, it's very easy to defeat it. It really is. But yeah, that's pretty much, what happened. And overall, great episode. I mean, we got some story. We got a flashback on her and on Mirai, and we found out the whole story there. I mean, I can understand why she's putting up this fence and saying, stay away from me, you're unpleasant and everything. Obviously, she feels she's cursed. She's a demon. That's what she feels about it. And then that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. So, yeah, that's the story, people. Bankai 922. Definitely, and this Sakura girl, I guess she obviously feels that she considers her a murderer. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to do something to her and get her out of that. So she's not attacking her all the time. So, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen there. And he showed it. I was like, holy shit. They showed, like, a manifestation of the, and it's going to possess him. It's going to possess Akihito. Yeah. So this should be good. I highly recommend everyone watch the next episode. Highly. So, yeah, I'm Bankai 922.